right. Welcome to Crusade for Christ. Welcome to Crusade for Christ. Now, this is designed to provide inspiration and motivation and a safe space for the person trying to navigate through life's changes while on their way to destiny. And, I want you to leave each episode a little less tired and a whole lot more inspired. So let's get after this today. Now, here's what we're going to do. This is Crusade for Christ, of course, but today it's about minding what matters, minding what matters. Now, first off, I want to just continue to thank you guys, to those of you who have listened to all of the other broadcasts, right, on Crusade for Christ. Thank you for supporting the broadcast. Every share, every like, every comment, I appreciate it all. I appreciate it all. And I really like that we are sticking with like this 10 to 20 minute thing. I really do. I like that because I really want to try to just kind of get in, get out, not hold up too much of you guys' time, because I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to what it is that I have to say on this platform. And I really appreciate that. So we're going to just dive right in. Now, again, minding what matters is today's topic. And I want to just discuss the importance of the self-aware, being self-aware, self-awareness. All right. Taking care of your mental health. And I'm going to say that again. I want to discuss the importance of the self-aware. So if you consider yourself very self-aware, we're going to get into that more. Taking care of your mental health. OK, we hear mental health. We've heard these words forever and we hear that often. But I truly believe that sometimes we get carried away in how strong God has made us. And I don't want to say carried away. I mean, we get so used to being strong that we neglect to take care of ourselves. And we feel like, well, I already know this. I've already been taught that. I've got the best teaching. I got the best knowledge. I've got the best. I already know. And sometimes in that, we're feeling like we're being so strong. We're feeling like we've gotten all of the teaching. When we have all of this teaching that we need around us, that we get carried away and we neglect to take care of ourselves. I'm so guilty of this. I've been there. I'm so guilty of this. And I'm learning some things about myself. And I've been there. So I totally get it. But you can be self-aware, strong, and still need help. And that's a part of minding what matters. It's making sure that you are taking care of you. So I'm going to give you a couple of definitions, self-awareness. And it's a noun. So self-awareness is a noun. It's an awareness of one's own personality or individuality. Is a realization of oneself, of an individual entity of personality. And it's pretty good acknowledgement and judgment about yourself. And those are just a few definitions that I've gathered from different places. OK, there's different things that I've read, but, meaning and self-awareness. It's a noun. It's a noun. It's an awareness of one's own personality or individuality. It's a realization of oneself as an individual entity or personality. And it's good knowledge and judgment about yourself. So now, those of us, we don't mind taking a look at that man in the mirror, okay? Right? And the man in the mirror can say, oh, I have good knowledge and judgment about myself. And there are those of us that aren't afraid to say, oh, you know what? That's a problem right there. That thing that I do on that day or that thing that I do sometimes over here. Yeah, that thing is a problem. See, that's an issue, right? And that person that is taking time to yield to God and saying, you know what, God, fix me. Show me those ugly parts. That person that will do that. And that person that can make a decision to go to therapy. That's a self-aware person right there. And so I believe most people listening to this broadcast, probably you're self-aware. And if you've never even thought about it, I hope that this has brought you to think, am I aware of my own personality and my individuality? Do I have good knowledge and judgment about myself? And really take some time to just think about them and not just the good, but even the bad, and really have a good knowledge and judgment about myself. Am I self-aware in that regard? And I want to talk about in giving the definition of the meaning of mental health, right? The meaning of mental health. So what is mental health? What is that? Mental health includes our emotional, our psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. But it also helps to determine how we handle stress related to others and how we make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life. I thought this was real interesting. Right. Not real interesting, but I think a lot of people forget this part. Mental health is important at every stage of life, every stage, from childhood, adolescence, through adulthood. So children's mental health is important. I think we forget about the kids. We forget about the toddlers. We forget about the babies that we mold. We forget about those young adults. We forget about the high schoolers. Their mental health is important. It's important at every stage of life. And a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. Now, that's another definition right there, another definition of mental health. So if a person's condition with regard to the psychological and emotional well-being, so that is the definition of mental health. And I hope I didn't read that too fast, right? But really take that in, the meaning of self-awareness and the meaning of mental health. And remember this broadcast, because we're going to talk about the importance of being self-aware, and that's you. And that's you, not only you taking care of yourself, but taking care of somebody else. But we want to make sure that just a couple of things. I want to make sure that we understand that we respect the journey. We respect our journey. Again, we're self-aware and we want to take care of our mental health. We want to make sure that we respect the journey, the personal God-given journey that God has given us. We don't want to despise the path that he has put us on, because a lot of times we think, well, how does that correlate with me being self-aware and taking care of my mental health, right? Well, you know what God has placed in you. You know what those ideas are that he has given you. All right. But again, like we've talked about in previous episodes on this broadcast in Crusade for Christ, sometimes we start comparing ourselves against others, and we get to comparing how others are progressing and what others are doing and even how they are doing it. Right. And it causes us to, again, to be in comparison. It causes us to sometimes shut down. It causes us to sometimes doubt and question, what ideas and things that God has given us. It causes us to question those things. And so the self-awareness we need to the self-aware needs to take care of their mental health. And it's not comparing yourself. It's monitoring what you're taking in, where you're going, what you're doing, making sure that you're not letting that inspiration turn into comparison, not letting teaching turning into comparison. It's okay to be inspired. Okay. It's okay for you to be inspired. It's okay to be taught, but we want to make sure that we're not comparing ourselves. It's okay to be challenged, to be held accountable, to come up higher, to do better, but we still want to make sure, that we're not comparing ourselves. It's very important that we're not doing that. And it's important that we take examination and really make sure that we're not comparing ourselves and falling into that pattern. And one reason that I started Crusade for Christ is because it's fuel for your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, right? And it is important for me to make sure that we're feeding every area of that, not just physically. Fitness is important, it's critical. However, we're going to be discussing every aspect here on Crusade for Christ. We're not going to just be dealing with one aspect all the time. We're going to be covering every aspect. So it is critical, your mind being fed, your body being fed, and your soul. Okay. And I may even introduce into the discussion fitness at some point in time, periodically here and there, specific programs like I do and I have done when it comes to the physical aspect of it. Okay. But the point is that was the meaning of why we understand that we fuel our mind, our body, our spirit, and our soul. All right. So it's important. It's important that we watch what we're listening to, that we watch what we're saying. We have to be mindful of that. And so nothing too deep as far as, but I do want to mention a couple of things. I did want to mention to you just some aids to help feed your mental health. I want to encourage you to take care of yourself, your mind, that you matter, your mind matters. So a couple of aids, and I specifically mentioned these aids because I know a lot of us we are attached to our phones. We are electronically attached to our phones. We are attached to our devices, if you will, our electronic devices, social media all day. If we're not on social media, we're electronically attached to the phone, the tablet, or whatever. We just live in a techie world. So that's just where we are at this point in our life. It's what we do. But I just wanted to suggest a couple of aids to help feed your mental health. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of the Abide meditation app, right? There are other apps for meditation, but this specifically is a Christian meditation app. And again, it's called Abide, and it's pretty cool. It gives you reminders morning and night. It's just another tool that will help you learn the word. And because it gives you reference scriptures, and it's biblically based, of course, but the scriptures that you can take and read outside the meditation that they give you. And so there are so many different tools that I would definitely encourage you to check out. It's Abide meditation. But here's another one that maybe you've never heard of it. Okay, maybe you have, but there's another app. It's called pray.com, pray.com. And it gives you Bible stories. You can just browse through it, but it's a teaching based app that can help you meditate, but really get that word in. So it's like a 2-for-1. It's a tool that help you read the word, get the word, meditate on the word. And so check them out. Check them out. I would say that let me say this. They shouldn't supplement as actual therapy. They're not going to do that. Okay. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that they are a good starting point. Okay. Good starting point. But listen to them and just browse through some of the stuff and see if there's a topic that stands out to you. And again, these are just some things to feed your mental health, to feed you spiritually. All right. Naturally, physically, mentally, these are all aids. Okay. So I just wanted to share just a couple of options that you could use, just while you're on your phone or on your tablet, something that's easy, something that could be playing in the background while you're working. You could be listening and working. It doesn't have to be any special dedicated time because everybody's busy. Nobody seems to have time, maybe you could use this while you're multitasking. But I also wanted to mention to you Joel 3:10, Joel 3:10. All right. I wanted to mention that to you because it's a really good passage to meditate on, right? Which says, let the weak say, I am strong. And I'm just paraphrasing this because I would always encourage you to read the word of God, read it for yourself, like I always tell you. But, you can be self-aware, strong, and still, you can get the help that you need. So I want to just keep repeating that because it's important. It is important. I want to encourage you with your self-aware self, all right? Because it's self-aware to take care of your mental health. So please do that. Please take care of your mental health. Do that. I could go much deeper and much further with all of this, but we're going to keep this around 10, 15, 20 minutes. But mind what matters, okay? Mind what matters. Please do that. Mind what matters as far as your spirit goes. Mind it. Your heart, where your heart is concerned, your mind, your heart, your spirit is concerned. Please take care. Please do that. Take care of you. All right. And yeah, we've heard this over and over again. We've heard people say, take care of me first, take care of me first, take care of me first. We've heard it so many times. And I'm not saying this in a selfish way. All right. And I feel like I've said this 1,000 times in other broadcasts, but please, please take care of you. It's important to take care of you. It's important to be open to help. It's important to be open to therapy. It's important to talk to someone. I'm a big proponent of a third party. Talk to someone outside of you, outside of yourself, outside of your family. Honestly, we all can benefit from therapy. We all can benefit from it. You don't have to have gone through a trauma, okay? Or maybe went through some devastation or be sad or for something to be wrong necessarily to benefit from talking to a licensed third party. All right. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be negative. That's how it's been made to be, but it's not that. It's okay to find somebody to talk to, a third party opinion, a third party perspective. Okay. And if you're a Christian, I would strongly suggest a Christian counselor. All right. Because you're listening to this broadcast. You're listening to this broadcast right now. You at least want somebody that's going to line up with your values. Somebody that's going to line up, at least understand, your beliefs. So that's important. It's important. Your values, what you believe, what you value. So again, I want to discuss the importance of the self-aware, taking care of your mental health. All right. And if you do follow me, I'm going to try to post more and more of my stories on my pages and things like that, just stuff about this. But please take care of yourself. Be self-aware. You know, you can be aware of your personality and individuality. You can have a good knowledge and judgment about yourself, a good realization of yourself, your individual entity as a person, and you still can need help. You can be strong and still need help, okay? So please make sure you are taking care of that mental health, minding what matters, heart, mind, body, soul, minding what matters, all right? Now, listen, hey, I love you guys. I love you guys, but hey, listen, I'm going to talk to you the next time, okay? Because that is my time. That is my time. So thank you for joining in. We have been minding what matters here on Crusade for Christ. I am Pastor TK. And listen, you already know what to do. You already know. Let's get it.